Get that record button going all the time. Hey everyone, I'm Terri-Britt and welcome to this week's Women Leaders of Love Own Your Worth Wednesdays. This is a fun week. We're really into the throes of fall. I'm looking out into the North Georgia mountains where I am recording from, and I'm looking at these beautiful colors starting to come in. And it's one of my most favorite weeks on the planet. It is Halloween. So that is always so much fun, right? To be in the state of playing, being kid-like, eating candy, and wearing our costumes so that we can be something other than who we are, right? That we can put on that fun face and that fun, scary part of us, whatever, Oops, hold on a second. I thought I had that on Do Not Disturb. We're going to turn that off. So, technical days, wow, right? Oh my goodness, let's see if we are still going here. Anyway, in essence of, in the celebration of Halloween, we're talking about today about taking off our mask. We're going to really look at what mask are we holding on to? Because when you think about mask, I know you've probably heard this before, like your happy face mask, right? And your happy face mask means that you're smiling all the time, and when you really feel as if you want to blow up or you want to cry, you put on that good girl face so that everyone will think that everything is okay. Well, as you can see, not everything is always okay, because I'm having all kinds of technical glitches here this morning, and then I'm also had a kind of a weird day. I locked a key in the car. We didn't have a second key to this van, this work van that we have. The guy came up to unlock it. He gets stuck in the neighbor's ditch. They have to pull a tow truck. It's one of those days. So I'm having to laugh, right? I'm having to laugh because I'm thinking, holy crap, what is going on here? But I'm being authentic here. So I'm taking off the mask and telling you, no, not everything is perfect in my life. And I'm sure not everything is perfect in your life. When we think about mask, we think about, of course, that happy face mask, but other ways that masks can come in is when you think about that the sense of not giving yourself a voice. It's almost like you're putting on that mask, maybe like we're wearing in the pandemic. You're putting on that mask and you're not giving yourself a voice. So that can be a mask. Maybe you are wanting to write a book. Okay, this is just a for instance. Maybe you're wanting to write a book and your mask is that you've got this veil over you and you're hiding, right? It's like you're hiding that part of you and you're not allowing your light to shine. So the mask is anything that masks, if I can say that, masks what is the truth of who we are, right? It's about putting on this picture of how you want the world to perceive you, when in reality there's something else going on. So I want you to think about that right now and just ask yourself, am I wearing a mask? Am I putting that on in any part of my life right now? Because I know for years I wore my mask, right? I always had the happy face mask on. That was the good girl inside of me. No matter how dark I felt on the inside, no matter how depressed I felt, I would always put on that mask. Now, there were two sides of that coin. By putting on the mask, sometimes it would help me to lift myself out of darkness. Okay, it was like, okay, I'm gonna make the best of everything. But I wouldn't allow myself to be fully real. I didn't allow people in. Okay, so when you think about putting on a mask, it's like you're not allowing people in to your heart space. You're not allowing people to see the real you. And when we do that, we're creating a facade, we're creating an illusion. So not only are we not allowing people in, but we're not allowing ourselves to be fully connected. Because when we're wearing our masks, I cannot say that word, when we're wearing our masks, that's hard to say. When we're wearing them, we disconnect. Okay, so this whole conversation that we have on a weekly basis on this Women Leaders of Love Own Your Worth Wednesdays is we really want to be in alignment with who we are and the way we were created. When we're wearing that mask, we're out of alignment. Okay, so I want you to think about that. When you're wearing your mask, you're out of alignment. So if you're out of alignment, that's where you're going to be unhappy. That's where you're going to be depressed. That's where you're going to be anxious. That's where you're going to feel like everybody else can have what they want and you can't. When you are wearing the mask, you're actually disconnecting from God. You're disconnecting from the truth. And in this disconnect, that's where you go into a low worthiness quotient. So you feel like the world is mirroring to you the fact that you're not feeling seen, heard, or valued. Well, it's because you're wearing your mask. When you're wearing your mask, you're saying, I'm not worthy of being seen. I'm not worthy of being heard. I'm not worthy of being valued. So we really want to take off the mask. Instead of wearing it for Halloween, we want to take it off. Okay. So I sure am hoping right here that this is, it said I lost my connection, but I'm assuming that I am still connected, but I'm not seeing anybody trickling in right now. And usually we have lots of people trickling in. So hopefully, hopefully there's nothing going on that way. And I'm talking about to the Facebook, and hopefully you guys on Instagram are there and everything's working fine. Let me see if I have any people coming on. Yay, yay. I see we do have some people. It says I'm muted. Oh my goodness. Says I'm muted. Why am I? It is one of those days. I think I should just turn this off and go run in the woods naked. Okay. So if I'm muted and on Instagram, so it says that somebody just said I was muted. I don't know. I think I turned off the ringer and I must have muted myself. So we're talking about wearing our mask, and I'm gonna kind of reconnect here with this. And forgive me if this has been one of those days. I really am taking off my mask right now, okay? Because it has been a weird day. I mean, everything that could go kind of haywire or crazy has been that. And I literally at one moment today, I took my dogs out to just kind of get grounded, and all of a sudden I just burst out crying, okay? Because I was like, wow, what is going on? What is going on here with me right now? And I had to check in with myself because it was like all day today has been that way. It was hard for me to go to the gym this morning at 7:15. I got there and I had a great workout. But then as the day wore on, it just felt like this heaviness was there. And I know I'm going through some shifts because we all do, right? When we're going through looking at ourselves and shifting and growing and expanding, we have those moments. But I just realized I was like, oh my gosh, you know, it was as if you was on Instagram, you didn't hear me if I was muted and I was talking about I locked the key in the car because we have a work van, and I brought it up to take my dogs for a walk, and I was going to go take them over to this really wonderful park. And then I realized I locked myself in, and this particular work van does not have a spare key. So then I had to call the key company, the guys to unlock it, and then they got stuck, and then they had to bring they had to bring in a tow truck. And so it was all this energy, right? It was just really weird energy. And so I had to check in with myself and go, what's going on? And quite honestly, I can feel a plug in the back of my heart. I'm always looking at chakras. So I'm taking off my mask right now. Okay. So I took off, I can still feel this plug in the back of my heart. So it tells me that there's something that's really trying to shift right now. And that's probably why I started crying it was just like, why am I crying? And it was really about, I was looking at myself about receiving, because one of the biggest issues I've had in my life, and again, I'm taking off my mask here, is about receiving. Even though my life is really, really, really abundant, and it is, and I'm very grateful for it, I have struggled over the years letting love in. Can you relate to that? I've struggled letting love pour in, whether it was in relationships or with my work or whatever. It's almost like I've had this shield up that said, no, I can't receive that kind of love. And I think that's why it's not, I think, I know that's why I teach about worthiness. I teach about letting love in, right? If we're loving ourselves, then we start opening up to let love in. So I know I'm going through a shift right now. And so I'm just being really transparent right here of saying, I'm working daily to let love in. I consciously have to let myself open up and let love in. And I know for years, my mask was that, no, I'm strong. I don't need help. I don't need your support. I don't need your love. And so I wasn't allowing love in. That's another mask that we wear, right? We don't allow ourselves to receive love. Oh, finally somebody's popping in here. So, hi Alicia. I'm so glad you're here. So we're talking about the mask that we wear and letting love in. So, are you wearing a mask? Are you putting a facade out there that isn't real, right? Are you putting that out there and not really letting people see the real you, even if it's wonderful stuff, because we put those masks on because we don't want to let people see our light, because we're afraid that I think a lot of it comes down to we are so programmed to conform that if we shine our light, we're going to be different. And maybe we have past experiences where somebody would knock us down, and maybe mean girls or whatever. And so it's easier to just suppress ourselves than to shine our lights. And that's wearing a mask, right? So maybe it's that way, or maybe that there's stuff really going on and you're feeling like, well, I have to be strong. I have to be really, really strong. I have to be strong for my kids. I have to be strong for my partner, for my parents, for my friends, for my coworkers. That's all a mask. Now, I'm not saying to go down the rabbit hole, because the rabbit hole can be really, really dark and hard to get out of. But it's just recognizing that when we're wearing the mask in those situations, we're not having compassion for ourselves. We're not embracing our humanness. Okay. And so that's really when we're raising our worthiness, when we're owning our worth, we want to embrace our humanness. We want to say yes to, I'm all of this. It was like the guy that came to do my lock, or to unlock the car. He went into a neighbor's yard to turn around, and that's when he got stuck. Well, the neighbor got upset. Well, this guy's new. He's new to the mountains. He's from flatlands of Florida, and he wasn't expecting, because I live up on a big mountain on a 1-lane dirt road down here, so there's not a whole lot of room to turn around. And I said to him, I said, you know what? You made a mistake, and it is okay, because he was feeling kind of bad that, this neighbor was mad. I said, you made a mistake. And I said, take that take that judgment he just put on you, and know that you're human and it is okay. But a lot of times we don't do that. We don't let our humanness show. We wear the mask because we don't want to be judged. We don't want to lose love. We don't want to have people abandon us, right? Which would be the losing love, but we don't want to be rejected. So we wear that mask. And it is so key that we recognize we're human. We're not the monsters of Halloween, right? We're not that. We're not the ghouls and the goblins. We are humans. And it's almost like we put on the mask to be superhuman. And we're not meant to be superhuman. We're meant to be human, right? I know as a mom, for me, for years, I would put on that mask and try to be superhuman. And then that's when I would blow up and get angry. And it would have been so much better if I'd just taken the mask off from the beginning and said, I'm struggling. I'm having a hard time here. It would have been so much better than me blowing up in those moments. But I wore my mask to show, no, I'm a good mom. I'm a good wife. I don't need help. I can do this. I'm strong. And I wasn't embracing my humanness. I wasn't embracing my fears. I wasn't embracing my trauma that I'd had in the past. And and really looking at it. This was years ago. This was before I even got on my spiritual journey. And so I realized that if I had taken off the mask, it would have been so much more loving for not only myself, but for the people around me. If I'd let them see into me, see what was really going on, that there would have been an opportunity for connection and growth. Okay. If I'd allowed myself to take off the mask and said, this is what's going on in my life, this is what I'm feeling, it would have created an opportunity for intimacy and an opportunity for healing. Now, luckily, since I've been walking my spiritual journey, I'm really conscious of wearing the mask and when I'm putting it on and when it's off. And I can tell you when it's on, I find myself feeling controlling. I don't know how many of you feel that way. When I am wearing the mask, it's like I'm controlling who I am. So therefore I start tightening up inside and I want to control the people around me. That's when that goblin comes out, right? The Halloween goblin comes out, only it can be year round. So it's about recognizing, oh, is this where I'm wearing a mask? I'm feeling tight. I'm controlling my light. I'm controlling my energy. I'm controlling who I am to present this facade. And now I want to control everyone else around me. Can you recognize that about yourself? It's interesting, isn't it? When you really start thinking about it, it's like, am I being real? And you know what's interesting is I think about it when, like with our girlfriends, we'll get real with them, right? Or at least hopefully we do. I mean, hopefully you're getting real with somebody in your life. It's almost like it's the rest of the world. I mean, look at social media. I mean, social media is a perfect example of wearing the mask, of not showing what's real. When you're with your best friends and you take off your mask, or maybe it's your partner, or maybe it's a parent, maybe you really, feel loved by a parent, that you can take off that mask, you feel free. You feel, I can breathe. Then when you're around other people, then when you're presenting something to the world, maybe the people around you, your work office, whatever, and you have that mask on, you feel stressed, you feel emotional, obviously, because that goes along with stress. Maybe you get sick because you're creating so many stressful situations in your life. Maybe you're depressed, right? Because a lot of times when we're putting on our mask, we get depressed. Depression often comes from not shining our light. So it's like that little kid inside of us says, are you ever going to let me shine? And so the depression is there because we feel hopeless. So I want you to just think about right now, we're about to go into our meditation. I want to invite you to think about right now, where am I wearing my mask? If you're not sure, then check in with your feelings. Where do I feel controlling? Okay, because that means you're suppressing yourself. And then you want to control the situation around you. So what are you doing right now in your life that feels like a mask? And then because it is Halloween week, we're going to take it off. We're going to say, yay, we're going to take it off. So let's do this. Let me see if there's anybody on Instagram that is wanting to say something. Okay, I was just looking to see because we are live streaming on Instagram now, and they don't get to be able to come in and ask questions in this Zoom call, and neither does Facebook for that matter, but we just we stream on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter all at once. But the only place you can really come in and ask questions during this live chat is on the Zoom call. And so you have to get the link for that. So just so you know, for future reference, If you want to get the link and you're not in my mailing community, because we send it out every Tuesday and Wednesday, is you can just go to terribritt.com/leaders and get my free worthiness quotient breakthrough bundle. And in that, you're going to get my free ebook on about women leaders of love, who we are, what we're doing. And also you'll get 3 guided meditations to really start looking at your purpose. So that's terribritt.com/leaders. So that's how you get into the Zoom call. And that's where I take the questions. If you do have questions on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn, I will get to those after the call and try to answer them as best as I can. So let's do this meditation. And I see that we've had a few other people pop in. So I'm glad you guys are here on the Zoom chat. We're going to do this meditation on getting rid of the mask that you're wearing right now. I mean, when you think about it, right? You know, you've heard me talk right now about when you wear the mask and how you suppress and then you want to control. That's when the goblin comes out. That's when the ghouls come out, right? Because I just know that when I would wear my mask, that's when I would explode. So we're getting rid of the goblins. We're getting rid of the ghouls. And in celebration of Halloween, we're getting rid of those things, okay? We're going to look at this and say, where am I wearing that mask? So that you can really see how you want to be authentic. And then remembering that as you give yourself permission to be more real, that you're saying, I'm worthy. I'm worthy of being loved simply by being me. And that's what it means to really raise your worthiness, is that I am saying yes to it. And then in that vibration, because we know that your feelings create a vibration, that you're going to attract things that feel loving and kind to you as you start saying yes to you. At first you may see, oh, well, these people are kind of questioning me. They're a gift. They're making you go deeper into loving yourself. So let's do this. Let's go into this meditation and clean up the mask that is hindering you from really being joyful, from really owning your worth. So I want to invite you right now to just take a breath and breathe in through your nose. Hold it. And release. Take another deep breath. Hold it. And release. We're going to take a moment to get grounded so you can get into a real receptive state. So I want to invite you right now to just visualize opening up the crown of your head like a camera lens, just and invite the light of love in, the beautiful light of God. I call it the light of love, the light of God. You can call it whatever you want, but let that love come in, coming in through the crown of your head, into your face, into your neck, and your shoulders. Now down your arms and out your hands. And then coming from the shoulders and moving down into the chest. All the way down into your hips. We're just bringing this light in, releasing any stuck energy, any energy that belongs to other people, any worry, any fear. Right now, we're washing it down. It's going out of our hands and out of our feet now. And now we're going to clear up our auric field around us, because it's always important to clear that energy as well. So as you're so full of light, that energy is going to come into that ball of energy around you, so that it washes the inside and the outside. And now dumping everything down at the bottom, and then visualize opening up this egg of energy that you're sitting in, and let everything flood down to the center of the earth. Just think of this column of light. I call it your grounding cord. Let everything go down that. So as you're sitting here in this space, and we've been talking about taking the mask off, I want to invite you right now that you visualize yourself in standing in front of a mirror. And even if you can't see it, just know that this is what you're doing. You're standing in front of a mirror. As you are holding this space where you're in this meditative place and you're imagining this mirror in front of you and you're seeing yourself. I want you to look and see, where am I wearing a mask? Is it over my mouth? Is it over my whole face? Is it over my throat? Is it over my whole energy field? Where am I wearing a mask? And just see it in the mirror as you're looking at it. Again, if you don't see visually like that, you can just imagine having a knowingness or a sensation, or you may even hear, whatever works for you. So where are you wearing that mask? And now I want you to imagine that you take the mask off. And you can just hold it in your hand. You take it off your face, off your throat, off your whole your mouth. Maybe if you see like a whole mask over your whole energetic field, you can. I always see that like a veil. I take that off and wad it up and put it in my hands. And now ask this part of you that has been wearing the mask. Ask, what exactly are you doing? Because you may be not understanding what this mask is about. So where are you wearing the mask exactly? Are you holding your voice in? Maybe it's something specific, which is even better if you can get to that place. So maybe you're not speaking to someone like a boss, you're putting that mask on. Maybe you're ready to make a shift in work and you're wearing a mask because you're afraid that if you ask for what you want, you'll be told no. I mean, it can be any of these things, right? So I want you to look at, how specifically are you wearing this mask that you're seeing? If you find yourself grasping, breathe, open up your crown again, be in a receptive state. And then you can ask, why? Why are you wearing this mask? We usually wear a mask because there is a belief there that says this is what we have to do to stay safe or stay loved, to survive. So ask, what is the specific belief that you're holding on to that is causing you to wear this mask? What is that specific belief? And I want you to think of this belief as your own little ghoul or goblin, okay? In the spirit of Halloween. This little ghoul or goblin wreaks havoc on your life. It keeps you in fear. So I want to invite you to imagine that that little ghoul or goblin of that belief that is causing you to wear the mask is standing out in front of you. And you can see it as a ghoul or a goblin. Okay, let's have fun with this. And I want you to imagine now that you're putting a pink blanket of love around this ghoul or goblin. And you can say to it, thank you, but no thank you. I don't need you anymore. I don't need you anymore. And you can watch this pink blanket turning this ghoul or goblin into light. I'm seeing it just dissipating. It's almost like it goes poof and it becomes light. You can imagine that light just going out into the universe, going back to all the light of love. I want you to breathe into this. I want you to imagine all the energy that belief, that little goblin left inside of you that is still there. I want you to imagine that it's just coming together and it's swirling together. And it's coming up into your heart and it's moving out of your heart space. Imagine that energy just moving into the light. And now I want to invite you to go down, if you're familiar with chakras, to your first chakra. If you're not, it's right at the base of your spine. And just think of it as an energy portal. I want you to imagine that this is opening up, because we wear our mask because we want to stay safe. And so this first chakra area is our survival. It's where we're not trusting. And so it gets locked down. That's why a lot of people have hip issues. So I want to invite you right now to imagine that all the fear, all the darkness, all the stuck, really like thick energy that feels like sludge is moving out. You can almost again have fun with this and see it as, a horror movie where it's moving out, this goo, right? So you can imagine it coming out, and you can even have it flooding into a pumpkin. I'm really being imaginative today, but it's kind of fun. So I want you to imagine that it's just moving out into this pumpkin. You're releasing all of that stuck energy that said, I have to wear my mask. And now take that pumpkin and you can just visualize it moving into the light of God, the light of love. And you can even imagine it just going poof and turning into light. You might feel yourself, the muscles in your body relaxing a little. You might feel yourself going a little bit deeper into your hips. A lot of times when we're in fear, we go out of our body. So you might feel yourself coming deeper into your body. So you can even feel your toes and your legs, and you can feel your shoulders and your arms, and just feel the energy of being fully in your body, fully saying, yes, this is who I am. I'm here. And I've taken off my mask. Breathing into this. Now, as you see that part of you that you were looking in the mirror to look at yourself and see where you were wearing the mask and you've taken it off, I want you to imagine sending light and love to this part of you. You can even just imagine that you've got light in your hands and you're sending it to you, to yourself, really, but you're seeing it in the mirror, right? So you're just sending this energy there, this energy of love, the energy of yes, of freedom. Feels so good. This is like saying a prayer for yourself, but it's like when you can see it outside of yourself and you can watch the energy, you can see it surrounding you and moving in to this part of you that has been really wounded. Feeling that energy go in. Breathing into this. And now feel this part of you that has been wounded stepping out of the mirror and walking towards you so that you two come together. You feel yourself merging now with this healed aspect of yourself. Breathing into this. Just letting that energy come all the way to your toes and fingertips and to the top of your head. And now visualizing wherever you were wearing the mask, that you're no longer wearing the mask. And I want you to imagine being in that scenario, whatever the situation is, whoever it's with. I want you to invite you to see yourself now without the mask and how it feels. How does it feel? It feels so freeing, right? Breathing into this, just saying yes to it. I am free. I am free. Feeling that energy moving through your body of freedom. Alrighty. So take one last breath into this, breathing in through your nose, holding it, and releasing very slowly, sinking deeper into your body, feeling more freedom than you've ever felt. Breathing in one last time, breathing in through your nose. Holding that, and then we're going to release very slowly. And when you're ready, you can come back into this space. That was kind of fun to do a meditation with all the Halloween aspects, but it was so cool to see, because I didn't plan that. My day's been so crazy. I always let spirit and God guide me. But it was really interesting to see the correlation of the mask and as a ghoul, when we take it off and the belief that was related to it, that belief, it was shown to me to show it as a ghoul or a goblin. Of course, we're celebrating Halloween, but the idea of it is kind of like that when you think about it. When you think about, oh man, this belief, it causes so much pain, it causes so much suffering, it really causes me to be stressed out, and probably like I have done many times in my life where you blow up, where you've been suppressed, you've been wearing that mask. And it almost feels like a little demon, right? It feels like a little goblin or ghoul. So to see it that way was kind of cool. It was for me, it was really fun. I was like, oh, this is a fun visual. I'm having fun with this. So I hope you enjoyed that too, because I thought it was pretty cool. You just never know what spirit's going to show you. So just to wrap that up, and then we're going to open up for anybody who has a question, is when you think of wearing your mask, what you're really saying is, who I am is not enough, and the way I was created was a mistake. Okay, so when we wear the mask, we're not only, like I said earlier, not embracing our humanness, but we're saying, I'm a mistake. I am a mistake, and I don't believe that. I don't believe you're a mistake. I believe you're exactly who you were created to be, quirks and all. We all have our quirks, we all have our stuff. But I truly believe, from coaching people for over 20 years, that you are divine. You're divine. We're all divine. And what I mean by that is we're all part of this beautiful energy of God, of love. And we forget that, right? We forget that. We come in, and because our parents don't know that and our teachers don't know that about themselves, we take on their stuff. And as we take on their stuff, we forget that we are this. We are this light and this love. And then we wear our masks to hide ourselves because we think, oh, this feeling that I have is not cool. This is bad. Or how I'm acting or who I am is wrong. No, it's not. Even if you've done things in the past that you feel were really, really bad, they were still a part of your path. They were still a part of your path. I've had people that I've known that didn't want to share their past. And when they started sharing it with me after I coaxed it out of them, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so interesting. Why would you hide that? But because they had negative connotations around their experiences and saw them as bad, they were wearing the mask. To me, that's what makes you so interesting. To me, when you share your heart and you share the truth of who you are, that's where I get to have a deep connection with you. That's where you shine the greatest light. That's when you become an expression of God. It's not about judgment, it's about acceptance. And taking off the mask is an act of acceptance. It's an act of forgiveness. It's an act of unconditional love. That's pretty cool, huh? So I want to open up now for anyone who has a question here on the Zoom call. As I said earlier, that for those of you who are on Facebook, on Instagram, I can look at the Instagram thing right here. I just can't look at, are y'all still not getting sound? Hopefully you got sound. Okay. I'm hoping people have sound. I'm looking at Instagram and people are writing no sound. I'm like, why is there no sound? So what I want to say to you now is if you want to open up, if you want to ask questions and you're not on the Zoom call, you can write your questions in the comments and then I will come back and try to answer them after this call. If you want to be on the Zoom call where you can ask questions and have some laser coaching and healing, and you're not a part of our mailing community, then you can go to terribritt.com/leaders, and that will give you my Worthiness Quotient Breakthrough Bundle to help you start raising your worth, owning your worth, owning your crown. And you'll get my ebook and free guided meditations, or you can take the quiz, the Worthiness Quotient Quiz. You can go to terribritt.com/quiz and see, have you really owned your worth? It's a really eye-opening quiz. And I don't promote it enough, and I should, because it was a divine download, and it is so good to help you see, have I owned my worth in different areas of your life, right? We've broken it down into, I think there's 8 sections. I forget, it was like a divine download and I created it and then my team created it. So it's really, really powerful. If you haven't taken it, I want to invite you to take it, terribritt.com/quiz. So with the ones who are on the call right now, on the Zoom call, does anyone have a question you want to ask? You can raise your hand or you can post something in the chat right here. And then I will answer and bring you on board. If you're trying to raise your hand, I know sometimes for some reason people try to raise their hands and they're like, I can't find there's a little icon at the bottom of your screen, at least on my computer screen. I don't know what it looks like on the phone that says reactions. It looks like a little face. You click on it and then it'll say raise your hand. You can raise your hand and then I will ask you to unmute. If you're trying to raise your hand and I'm not seeing you, jump right in, just unmute yourself and jump right in here. And if you don't, then I might call on someone just to share. Just know that if you do share, this is a live stream, so people are seeing it. And I think that's wonderful. You see how I get so vulnerable and tell my stuff, and people really learn from us as we share. And that's the whole idea of this call, is to not only help you guys that are on here that ask questions, but those who maybe are watching a replay or watching it live streaming somewhere else, that they say, wow, that woman's story is my story. And I'm so grateful that she had the courage to share, because to me, that's really being a woman leader of love, is that we're willing to be so transparent. So does anyone have a question they want to ask or a comment? It doesn't have to be about today's meditation. It can be about anything that's going on in your life. Anybody? Let's see. I'm not seeing anybody raise a hand today or comment in the chat. So I'm just going to call on someone for a second, and let me see who Spirit is asking me to call on. Okay, so and if you do not want to do this, you can say, I don't want to do it, and you can just not unmute. But Daniela, I'm getting a hit to call on you if you want to unmute yourself and say, hey. If you don't, you can unmute yourself and say, hey, I don't want to talk, and then mute yourself back. So I want to invite you to, hey.
Hi, Terry. Yeah, so my thoughts about topic today about wearing a mask is so because I'm listening to some dating coach right now. So they are talking about how to connect with guys on a dating app and stuff like that. And they say you have to be more in your feminine, and that means leaning back and let the guy come to you. He should start the conversation, and he should and you should not ask questions as a woman. You can make statements and stuff like that. And yeah, leaning back and
They're telling you not to ask questions.
Yeah, they say you can give some statements and talking about how you're feeling and stuff like that, but you shouldn't ask questions in the beginning in the dating process because that's too masculine. And now I'm wondering and I'm thinking, okay, on one side, I think, okay, until now it didn't work what I've done. But on the other side, I think, yeah, then it's like it's feeling like I have to hold back my real person, what's going on inside. And if I don't feel like I can share, or maybe if I want to reach out to the guy and then he will pull back because I'm doing all the work and chasing him, so I'm getting kind of confused now.
Well, I have to tell you, and I would never knock another coach, and that may be their experience, okay? And I don't know what the belief system is that they're coming from, but I can tell you from my own experience, Danielle, is that with my first husband, who I was married to for 17 years, and until he died, I met him at a Laker game. And it was after the game. It was in the press room. I was with another former Miss USA who I never hung out with since or beforehand. She just called me out of the blue and said, you want to go to the Laker game tonight? And I'm like, sure, because she was dating Mitch Kupchak back then. This was back in the 80s. So I had just broken up with a boyfriend and said, I am so ready to be out and having fun. I don't want to date anybody in particular, right? So I really released it. Well, that night I go to the game, and afterwards in the press club, Julie, it was Julie Hayek. She entered. We meet some people that she knows. This guy and I think it was it was a guy, and he was with Steve, who became my husband eventually. And Julie, we said hi. That was it. We go over and walk over, meet some other people. She's trying to introduce me to this guy who I had no interest in. And I said, I'm interested in that guy, Steve. There's something about him. And I walked over to Steve. I struck up the conversation. Okay. We moved in together about 3 or 4 weeks later. And we got married a couple of years later, and we were married for 17 years. So I don't know if I believe what you're being taught. Now, if you believe that at your core, if it's your truth, then that's the way it's going to work for you. That would not be my truth. Okay. So with my husband now, Charlie, I didn't know Charlie. His daughter was on my girls' dance team. And when my husband died, when Steve died of a massive heart attack, Charlie's wife had killed herself 5 years. I think it was 5 years prior. So he shows up on my doorstep because he's a nice guy and said, let me support you through this. So you'll know some of the things you need to do with Social Security and all this different stuff for, your late husband. And I didn't think anything about it. Next thing I know, Charlie and I are hanging out with another woman, the three of us. I'm trying to fix them up. I'm just doing my thing, right? I'm just going about life. And I was completely authentic with him. And one day he and I just had lunch. And okay, I'm going to get really real here. Okay. So you're going to crack up. Mm-hmm. So we go to lunch, not as even a date, but just as friends, getting to know each other. And he starts talking about courting. like courting women, and I'm like, courting? And because that word seems so old to me, right? Well, my husband, before he had his heart attack, had prostate cancer. And so for 3 years, I think it was, before he died, we couldn't have sex. I was 45 when he died. So Charlie and I are hanging out, and he's talking about courting. And I looked at him and I said, Charlie, I'm a 45-year-old woman who hasn't been laid in 3 years. I am not interested in courting. And you know what he said? He thought under his breath, he went, thank you, God. So I was so real and was unattached to whether he liked me or not, or in my first husband. And I didn't practice being unattached because I wanted, with Charlie, it was still so new then, but with Steve, I just was being me. And, and now granted, with Steve, as we got into our marriage, I started suppressing myself more because I went into the role of the family, of what you do in the family. And that's when I started getting a lot angrier. But when I was just being me and doing my thing, it was easier to just be very, very real and authentic, because this is my thought process. It's not about being needy. It's about, I am going to be so real because this is how I want to live in my life, that if it scares you and you run away, then you're not my match anyway. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Because you have to be authentic, and otherwise you can't really connect. And what I think is, if both are interested and open for a relationship, for something serious, so that's what I think, then the guy will reach out too, and we will meet and stuff like that, and it's continuing naturally. But on the other side, I think maybe if you do too much as a woman, then maybe the guy is leaning back and thinks, okay, I don't have to do that much, and a guy should chase the woman maybe a bit, so not making it too easy for him in the beginning.
See, I disagree with that, but that's just me. I'm not one into playing games. I'm really into, this is who I am right here, right now. And if you don't like it, that is okay. So that's the way, Charlie sometimes, because I'll just say something, meet new people, and he'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe you just said that. Because everything just comes out of my mouth. But the response is usually, wow, I'm so glad that you feel like you can say that, because most people won't say it. It was like the other day, I was at the gym and I do semi-private coaching in a small group. And so it was me and my coach, who was a man, and then this other man. We're all yapping. And I said that I sent my grandmother a stripper when she turned 70. And he looked at me and he's like, really? And I said, yeah, I did, because that's the kind of relationship I have with my grandmother. And he's like, wow, I feel like I can say anything to you now. I said, you can't say anything to me. So, and granted, we're not dating, but I think what maybe they're trying to say to you in this dating coaching is they're saying, don't be needy. Don't be so in their face. And, and maybe I'm wrong, but to me, it's like, don't be needy. Be in a space of unattachment, that if you're holding the vision of what you want in a relationship, you have to think of, rather them, it's almost like when I used to be in television and I'd go on auditions and I'd always be like, oh, are they going to like me? They're going to like me. They're going to like me. They're going to like me. And it was this attachment energy, right? It was like this cling on energy. When I got to a place that I wasn't attached anymore, it was like, wait, I'm doing you a favor by being here. And that's not an ego thing. It's like, I'm giving you an opportunity to see something different. Right. And so it was even with agents. It's like, oh, my agents, oh, what are they going to think? It's like, wait, they're working for me. I'm not working for them. They're working for me. And so we have to shift that mindset. So it's almost like when you're going out on dates, you're not being needy, wanting them to like you. It's almost like you're doing the interview of, do I like you? Do I want you in my life? That's my perspective. So you can take your coaching perspective and my perspective and find what works for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, taking the attention away from him, and
it's about not being needy. Okay. It's about, I'm just going to be so real. Because what happens is in your realness, there's joy. When you are so real, you're laughing. You're joyful, you're passionate, you're playful. And if the person is a match for you, he's going to love that about you. Okay? If he's not, if he's like, oh, this doesn't feel comfortable to me, she's too passionate or she's too outspoken, then are you willing to be with someone that you can't be fully you? Because if you're setting the tone from the beginning that way, then that's what you're going to have to expect. You're going to be building the illusion more and more and more and more. So my thing is I would be checking in with myself if I were in your situation and dating and going, okay, I'm going to go on this date and I'm just going to be me. And then I'm going to check in through the date to see, am I grasping? Am I like this? Or am I relaxed and just being me? And if I feel like asking a question, I ask a question. If I just want to be in a space of listening, I'm in a space of listening. Okay. So it's really about paying attention to what you're feeling rather than being here. To me, what they're coaching you to do is to be here. And I want to encourage you to drop into your heart. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because otherwise I think the guy can feel it if I'm not authentic. Yeah, and think about it, what to do next and stuff
Don't
like
do that. Just be you. I think this is why we work on raising our worthiness, is because when you get into this state of where you're just doing the diligent work on yourself, okay? When you're looking at yourself, when you're loving yourself, when you're doing the clearing of your beliefs, you're raising your vibration and saying, I deserve to be seen, heard, and valued. I deserve to be loved. I deserve to be embraced. And so by doing that, if you keep your focus on yourself, then what happens is you get into that high vibration, and now you can attract someone into your life that will match that. Okay, does that make sense to you?
yeah, and can even see it. Otherwise, I would abandon myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
that's
when you're in your head and you're playing that, okay, am I needing to sit back? Am I asking too many questions? You're not being authentic,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
So I don't know where these dating coaches, what their perspective is. Is it based in religion? Is it based in, trauma? I don't know what their background is, and everybody's going to have their perspective, and maybe it's worked for them, but I really feel like it's about being authentic. If you can, this is the way I look at it. When you're authentic, you're sending a message that says, I'm enough, I'm worthy, I'm lovable, I'm likable, and I'm open to receive that person who's a perfect match for me.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Just a different perspective, but I think you have to kind of get in touch with what's right for you and see, maybe it's somewhere in between. Maybe it's what I'm saying. I mean, to me, if you're here in this call, you're really wanting to be fully authentic in your relationships.
Yes,
So
yeah.
you are, right? Yeah, I get that. And so what I would say to you is, give yourself permission to be that. Okay. Give yourself permission to be fully authentic. And look at that little girl inside of you, because I see her and you're holding her hand and she's like, I don't know what to think about anything. I'm just so confused. And if you'll just keep reassuring her that she is lovable and she's likable, you keep listening to her, then what that does is that creates the opening.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Beautiful. Not chasing any outcome. Yes.
Don't chase the outcome. If you're grasping, what you're doing is you're energetically saying, I'm not worthy. But if you're trusting, you're saying, if you're trusting and you're relaxing and you're being authentic, you're saying, you know what? I know that my perfect match is out there. And I don't have to know how I come to meet this person. I just need to be in a state of love, loving myself so the person can show up. I mean, who would have ever thought that I would move across country my husband would drop dead, and my husband now of over 13 years would show up in my life on my doorstep the day after my husband died. And it's because I was holding that vibration of love for myself. And I had also been working on passion in my life. Like, that's one of the things I teach in my worthiness quotient program, is really looking at where you're blocking passion. And that's what I was working on at that time. And so as I'm doing that, all of a sudden Steve passes away and passion arrived with my new husband, Charlie. So that's why I say do the inner work. Okay. Just keep looking at yourself, looking at how do you love yourself deeper? How do you move into alignment? How do you get more authentic? And then from there, and just celebrate that this amazing person has shown up in your life.
You mean my new partner?
Do what?
You mean my new partner, or?
Yeah. Just like, I am so grateful for this amazing being that has shown up in my life. I am so grateful that I have this amazing, loving, passionate, whatever you want, define what you want in a relationship, really lay it out, put some bullet points there, but put some words to it and the feelings, and just start going into gratitude for it, and trust that it is going to show up at the perfect divine time. Okay. When you grasp, it's like, oh, I'm going to go out on dates. I'm going to have fun. And I'm just going to have a good time. I'm going to make this my interview. I'm interviewing people and seeing who I like. Right. And instead of thinking of yourself being tested and proving your worth, you're thinking of, okay, are you a match for me? Do I want to share even more of myself with you? Right. I mean, you got to think about, you're interviewing them. Okay. We tend to put ourselves in the state of, oh, they're interviewing me. Am I going to look okay? Am I going to be enough? No, shift the consciousness. You're interviewing them.
Yeah. So the guy has to earn me.
Yes.
That's perception. Yeah. I have my role model, my parents, it's my dad didn't step up. So my mother had to do everything. So it's kind of hard to see that and switch from that, So that's a bit something what's inside of me, to be afraid that the guy is not doing that much.
Yeah. I do want to say this, though, that it, if what they're talking about in your coaching about the male versus female is, if your mother was the male energy in the home.
Yes.
And she didn't allow herself to be feminine at all. Yes. Maybe the reason you've been taking some of this is just to say yes to your feminine side. And that's not about suppressing yourself. It's saying more to yourself. So saying yes to your divine feminine is that intuitive, listening to your intuition rather than being in your head. It's about allowing yourself to take your walls down. Men tend to, it's like this barrier. So it's like letting your walls down, being softer. I mean, I used to be very masculine energy, but as I've loved myself, the divine feminine has come through, because I never thought of myself as being really feminine. And, but as I've loved myself more, then my sensual side comes through, my compassionate, kind, nurturing side comes through. So maybe that's why, because you have to ask, why am I in that course? And so you think, what can I take from it? Give yourself permission to be in the divine feminine, but asking questions to me is not, I don't see that as masculine. I think for me, when I'm following my intuition and feeling guided, just like, what do I want to ask? That's very feminine. Now you're moving into the divine masculine by taking action, but it's the divine feminine that's guiding you there. So it's almost like they're saying, don't be in the masculine at all, but you want to be in the divine feminine and the divine masculine, because that's where we thrive on a daily basis, no matter what. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they say then you take the part of the leading if you ask so many questions. And you should let the guy lead.
Let me tell you, I won Miss USA because I asked questions. My dad sat me down and he said, listen, people like talking about themselves. And he said, so when you go on these one-on-one interviews and your competition, he said, don't make it all about you. He said, you turn the table and you ask questions. And you know what? I did. And I had one of the judges was Vic Damone, who was he used to be a big time singer, I think back in the 50s, and I didn't know who he was. So I read his bio, and in the interview, we're talking, he's asking me questions, and I said something about, you're a singer. And he said, yeah, you've heard me. And I said, I don't think so. And he goes, yes, you have. And he says, have you ever heard the commercials weekends were made for Michelob? And I said, I think so. I said, can you sing it? And he sang for me. He sang for me.
Wow.
Yes. In my one-on-one interview that was about 2 minutes long, maybe 3 minutes. And that my interviews won it for me, for Miss USA, not my looks, my interviews won it because I created a connection. I asked questions. I took an interest. So for someone to say, don't ask questions, I totally disagree with that. But that's my opinion. You have to figure out what's right for you.
Yeah, I mean, it shows interest to the other person, and it's making a connection. So it's feeling right for me what you say, and it's also that my body is relaxing in this, what you say. And if I
Good.
listen to the other coaches, then I'm getting confused and I'm not in peace with myself because
Yeah.
I think something is not feeling good for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Just check in with yourself, really find out what's right for you. Because again, what they've done might have worked for them. Maybe they were too aggressive. I mean, I don't know what the coach was like, but maybe she was so aggressive. You don't feel that way. You don't feel like you're running a lot of masculine energy to me. You feel soft to me. And so maybe that coach, whether she is now or not, or whoever it is, maybe they had a real harsh energy. And so they had to pull back on that. Maybe they were like raw in your face. I think there's a balance, right?
Yeah,
And
and maybe they have to offer some strategies.
yeah, exactly. But I just think you have to check in with yourself and always, 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 you have to think, what is the long-term goal? The long-term goal is you want a relationship where you can be free to be you. You can be authentic. You can be playful. You can be sensual, sexual, passionate. You can have your human days where you're crying. You can have all of that. And the person puts their arms around you and says, I love that you're real. That's what you want. And you want,
Yeah.
yeah. And you
I have
want
to
them to be,
trust that I'm enough as I am right now.
and you
That's
are,
all
you
yes.
are, you are, you are. I even see little angel wings on you. You're like a little earth angel. And I don't think you recognize that about yourself.
Oh,
So
beautiful.
yeah, yeah. So I actually just realized what time it is. So Daniela, thank you for being so courageous to let me call on you. And
Thank you so much,
I'm so
Terri.
glad that I asked and you were the name to come up because it sounded like you really needed to have that conversation.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for you that you're going to just stand in your truth and just say, I have a lot to bring to the table. I want to share my heart and I want to know your heart. There's nothing greater than to connect like that with people, than to share your stories, to share who you are, what you feel, what you think. And then if they're your vibration, your match, then that's what's going to be. And then if it's not, then you don't want to be in that relationship anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Right. Yes.
All
Thank
right.
you.
So I'm going to ask you to mute yourself and then we're just going to take a moment and just give thanks for this healing today. And hopefully, even those of you who already have relationships in your life, you can recognize that through Daniela and what she was talking about, and that we wear our mask, we can already have a relationship and have our mask on. So I want to invite you to take the mask off. And really want to invite you to say, if I want a passionate, dynamic, intimate relationship with my partner or the person that I'm going to draw into me, then I have to be that. I have to let go of my guilt and my shame about it. I have to own my worth and say, yes, I am worthy of this, and take the steps to really take the mask off and to love yourself, because that is how you're going to create a deeply intimate relationship. So thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I just want to send everybody some love and light. Thank you for being here, and sorry for the technical difficulties that we had earlier. And I send you all so much love. Remember, next week, same time, same place, 2 p.m. Eastern. You can do it on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, And of course, you can be here on Zoom if you want to join us, and you can grab my Worthiness Quotient Breakthrough Bundle. It's totally free, and grab that, and then you'll get the link in your inbox to come join us on Zoom. And that's terribritt.com/leaders. Bye-bye, everybody. Love you guys. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being so courageous. Bye.